Up on Valley News Live at 10, what a Fargo man hopes for after losing his leg in a workplace accident. Several first-hand accounts of that mass shooting in Colorado from former Minnesotans. And a rocker puts his coolest stuff up for auction. Valley News Live at 10 starts right now.
This is Valley News Live at 10.
A Fargo agriculture company has been fined hundreds of thousands of dollars after an employee lost his leg in an accident last August. Valley News Team's Courtney Lockie talked with the Fargo man about what he hopes will come from the tragedy and fallout.
Aaron Maves is back at work at Red River Commodities, where he's been for more than a decade.
I have my days. I wanted to go back, but I still have my days where it's hard to be there. It's hard for my head, the anxiety and other stuff gets to you.
Last August, Aaron was shoveling grain bin when his foot slipped through the guard and into an auger. It took first responders nearly 40 minutes to get him out.
I was pretty confident in the fact when I seen my foot go in the auger, I wasn't going to have a foot again. I know what they do.
He was taken to the hospital, and when he woke up, his right leg was gone. The road to recovery has been a long one that's far from over. It was just last month Aaron was given a prosthetic leg. Since returning to work, he spends his day mixing seed, a job he says he knows can be a dangerous one.
You always think it never would happen to me, and that can all change within a second.
Red River Commodities was cited for several violations after the accident. Besides a fine of $225,000, the company must implement new safety measures.
It's amazing to see what Red River is doing ever since the incident.
The settlement doesn't change what happened to Aaron, but he's hopeful it will make a difference. In Fargo, Courtney Lockie, Valley News Live.
And the company says it was 100% compliant with OSHA in a statement given after the accident. If you want to report a problem in your neighborhood, here's some advice. Call our Whistleblower Hotline. The phone number's on your screen, 701-237-6576. Call that number and leave your tip. Our hotline is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Fargo police are looking for a man who drove through several garages tonight, at one point with a woman hanging from the vehicle. That happened just before 4:30 this afternoon in the 1000 block of 9th Avenue South. That's the vehicle their police are looking for. It's a purple or blue van, possibly with an American flag on the front and tribal plates. The man is described as being an older, thin black male who has been seen driving recklessly through an alley with a woman they described as a Native American hanging from the vehicle. Now, after that, police say he drove through a bank of garages in the 900 block of 10th Street South and then continued speeding down 13th Avenue. If you have any information, call 701-235-4493 or text your tip to Fargo PD at 847-411. That massive fire at the former Mid-America Steel building downtown Fargo was intentionally set. It happened Monday night. Fire crews were still on the scene until noon yesterday investigating. At this point, no word on suspects and no arrests have been made. And still no sign of this car that's been linked to a shooting in West Fargo earlier this week where a 6-year-old boy was wounded. Witnesses say 2 men fired a gun at the car, and the driver inside, who's still on the run tonight, fired back with one of the rounds entering a nearby home, striking the 6-year-old in the head. Tonight we hear that the boy is still in stable condition after surgery. Meanwhile, 19-year-old C.J. Carruthers was arrested in the case and was charged today with reckless endangerment, conspiracy to commit robbery, and firing a gun within city limits. A 17-year-old male was also arrested. His name is not being released because he's a juvenile. In your COVID-19 vaccine coverage tonight, a new study has confirmed that the antiviral drug remdesivir shortens the duration of illness in people with COVID-19. Research also found that it happens even among patients who have a higher risk of severe disease. It doesn't mean the drug is a cure, but the findings add to evidence that it can lighten the burden of the coronavirus. In October, the antiviral medication became the first drug to get the full FDA approval for use in treating COVID-19. Several spots in North Dakota are now allowing the general public to sign up to receive the COVID vaccine. In Grand Forks, you can sign up now. You can sign up by using your MyChart account or calling 701-780-6358. They say appointments are available as early as Wednesday, April 7th. as they're currently finishing vaccinating people in Phase 1C. Meanwhile, Essentia Health is also letting anyone in the general public schedule a vaccine appointment. You can use your MyChart account or make one on essentiahealth.org or call 833-494-0836. And to stay on top of the latest COVID vaccine-related information, use our VNL Vaccine Tracker. It's right on the homepage of our website, or you can open the phone camera and point it at the QR code on your screen and then tap the link that pops up. Cruise lines want the White House to allow sailings to return this summer. Their international association is planning to ask the Biden administration to lift the no-sail order for cruise ships. The CDC issued the order 1 year ago, but the association has already voluntarily suspended all operations. Now they're hoping the CDC lifts the order in early July. The group says their timeline matches with President Biden's forecast. If you still haven't received the latest stimulus check, hold on, check your bank account. Another round of checks, $37 million worth, were deposited today. And if it's not there, the IRS says, don't worry, this isn't the final group of deposits. More are expected next Wednesday. 10 people are dead after Monday's mass shooting in Boulder, Colorado, and multiple people who witnessed the shooting grew up in Minnesota. Reporter Susan Elizabeth Littlefield shows us how they were barely able to get away.
For Minnesotans Brian and Aaron Cruzy, this was the dream, to live in Colorado. And 2 months ago, they made it happen.
You're just surrounded by kind of active lifestyle people, out and about, and friendly, walking their dogs.
But Monday, they were surrounded by tragedy. 10 people killed, including an officer at the grocery store right across the street from their home, the store Brian was in.
I had my shopping cart full of stuff, and as I was leaving the exit, I heard loud explosions. I looked up, and that's when I saw the gunman right in front of me, really, in the parking lot, and he was shooting across what I now know was at the other doorway that I didn't exit. It was one of those things where I knew it was bad. The type of rifle he had, I knew that anyone that he was aiming at would probably be dead. Had I left 10 seconds earlier, I probably wouldn't be here today.
Brian ran out the back door, warning others to leave. One of the other shoppers was a University of Colorado freshman from Bemidji.
He was in the grocery store. He had some things in his arms. A cop burst in, told him to run.
His father, who is an emergency responder himself, watched as the victims were named and the officer honored.
I don't know if that's the police officer that got killed, but it may have been. Either way, he saved our son's life.
And so, like the rest of the nation, the Minnesotans on the front lines are trying to grasp what is gone.
I just want to say I feel so lucky right now. Like I said, slight changes could have ended much, much worse for me.
It's just too much. We shouldn't have to live like this. America shouldn't have to live like this.
And Minnesota U.S. Senator Amy Klobuchar tweeted about the violence, saying back to normal cannot mean a return to gun violence. U.S. lawmakers are calling for stricter gun laws after back-to-back mass shootings in the country, but the gun industry is prepping for a surge in sales. Research groups found whenever there are moves for stricter gun control, people buy more guns in fear that they won't be able to again. Reliable figures from the federal background checks aren't expected to be released until next month. Gun legislation is also being considered on the state level. One bill North Dakota lawmakers brought up attempts to sidestep federal regulators, which could put North Dakota on a long road through federal counts. It's a homemade gun bill saying firearms made entirely within North Dakota's borders would be exempt from federal regulations, while federal law allows individuals to manufacture some forms of homemade guns. Opposers say interstate commerce will be necessary to put the pieces together in North Dakota.
North Dakota, thank God, is blessed with a lot of natural resources, but we're not blessed with all the natural resources that it's going to take to manufacture these types of things. And so that's kind of how interstate commerce becomes involved.
If the bill passes, North Dakota could find itself butting heads with the supremacy clause of the U.S. Constitution, which says federal law overrules state law. An ex-Democratic presidential candidate is not happy about Twitter's ban of former President Donald Trump. U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders spoke up about Twitter's decision today. He says Trump's ban from the social networking site didn't sit right with him. The site permanently suspended the then president from its platform 2 days after January 6 Capitol riots. The social media site also said it removed him due to the risk of further incitement of violence.
So would it hurt your heart if somebody hung that on the wall and didn't play it?
Yes, sacrilege.
Still ahead tonight, a preview of the rock and roll auction attracting bidders from around the world. But first, many of us will be waking up to a pleasant day tomorrow morning, but that's nothing compared to what Hutch tells us is on the way. He's next with your forecast.